Howdy YouTube family, it's Bolt CRNA coming to you again with another week's topic. So this week we're going to talk about something that's similar to last week's topic, but I'm going to go more in depth into it since some of you are wanting really specific things and some of you are SRNAs currently and you need specific information. So today we're going to talk about how did I get so many interviews specifically. The first thing that you need to understand with this market currently is it is a CRNA's market. There is a shortage of anesthesia providers right now, and the anesthesia world goes in ebbs and flows. From what I've been told from my professors who are, in their 60s and been around a long time, they say that there are times where they graduate new graduates and they struggle to find a job, and a lot of them have to relocate when they don't want to relocate to go find a good job. And when they take a job, they take one that's for low pay and restricted practice and bad hours and all kinds of stuff. They're just a job you were not wanting or looking forward to. But they know the practices can do that because it's a tight market and there's not many jobs available, and so it's either take it or not have a job after you graduate, and you're so far in debt you have no choice. So yeah, there are CRNAs that'll tell you they graduated at a time, and I can't remember, it might have been the early 90s or late 90s, I can't remember, but there was a time that wasn't that long ago that graduates told me that when they got out of school, they were fighting for jobs, and the market was not good, and they had no choice but to take whatever was offered to them. That is definitely not the situation currently. Currently, I don't know if there's ever been as big of a lucrative market for new graduates right now. I know the professors are shocked when they ask us about the job interviews we're going on or the pay that's being offered to us. There's actually practices that contact our professors and ask our professors to please send out mass emails to all of us, third-year SRNAs about their practice, just trying to get their practice out there for us to know about and hopefully for us to submit a job application for an interview there. I mean, people are very desperate. During your rotations, you'll find, even as a second year, but especially as a third year, you will have the practices almost every day. You'll have one of the practice leaders, whatever type of practice you're in, whether it be CRNA only or an ACT model that's ran mostly by anesthesiologists. You'll have those people who are in charge of hiring come up to you and say all the time, where are you going to go work? Have you thought about here yet? What kind of jobs have you interviewed at? I mean, they're very interested in you coming to work for them. And it's not because, don't think it's because I'm special and I get all these people offering me jobs. It's all of my classmates are getting this. We're all getting asked frequently, where are you going to go work? So the market right now is very good, and I anticipate it to be very good for a few years at least. There was a recent lecture where they were talking about the projected shortage of anesthesia providers in the future because the baby boomers are all getting older. That includes the baby boomers who are CRNAs right now. So they're in their 60s, a lot of them, and they will retire in the next 5 to 10 years. And as this huge group of people all start to retire, there's going to be a major drop-off in the number of CRNAs available. And to add a compound issue to that, as the CRNAs that are baby boomers retire, all of the other baby boomers out there who are not CRNAs, who are just elderly people, they will all need more healthcare. They're all going to need more surgeries, more medical interventions, more things that require anesthesia. So you're going to have increased demand and decreased supply, which is already starting to happen, which is what I'm seeing as I'm interviewing. So for you guys who are coming up behind me and interested in this field, should be very good for you too. It seems like every year pay just keeps increasing, benefits keep increasing, autonomy and abilities keep increasing for CRNAs. So it's a good market. Long story short, that is a major reason why I got so many interviews. And that's a major reason why pretty much all of my classmates have had lots of interviews. We had, in the fall semester, this past semester, I think every Friday we had an anesthesia group show up and bring catered food and gifts and just spend time with us and feed us and talk to us and try and convince us to come work for their practice. And it was like every Friday for a semester. It was nice. There was one group from New York City that flew, and I'm in Tennessee. They flew from New York City down here to just bring us food and gifts and talk to us and offer to house us in New York City. If we wanted to fly up there and do a formal interview with them, they would pay for our housing and stuff, which I'm sure a lot of you know housing's very expensive in New York when you come stay there for vacation. So that is why the market is so good. That is why there's so many interviews being offered. That is why I had so many interviews, and why you will have a lot of interviews as well in the near future if you follow behind me. Another pro tip that might be a little too insider baseball, but for those of you who are SRNAs, you know there is a CRNA/SRNA Facebook page. That Facebook page is visited, I think it's members of 25,000 CRNAs and SRNAs are members of that page. So that's roughly about half the CRNAs that exist are on that Facebook page. And if you post on there that you are interested in a job in Tucson, Arizona, or wherever you're interested in a job, you will have, in less than a day, you will probably have 20, 30, 50 people commenting, letting you know, like, oh yeah, I work here and I work here and I hire for this management company, or I do this. And you will, and that's what I did. And since I was more open, I didn't care if it was Tucson, Arizona. I said pretty much Western type states, because I like the weather over there. And I like a lot of the practice laws over there for CRNAs. So I said, you know, Texas up to New Mexico, Arizona, Oregon, California, that whole region. What kind of practices are out there for an independent practice CRNA that's a new graduate? And I think I got like 25, 30 messages in the first couple hours of CRNAs saying like, I have a job, here's a place, you know. There's all kinds of people that will hit you up. I got emails, phone calls, and that's really how I found the best job that I ended up having, was through connections to those people. And honestly, the job that I interviewed at, I knew people from that community who worked there and who could connect me with other people who were, you know, knew the inside scoop about the position. So before I even flew out to California to do my interview in person, I already knew the details about the practice. I already knew the, you know, inside stuff and the scoop about what goes on there. And I knew that it was, you know, the good and the bad. Everyone has good and bad in each practice. So you can listen to both sides and decide, is this pro and con list something I could handle that I would want to deal with for my practice in the future? And it was for me. I mean, the pros were great, and the very few cons were not things that were significant to me. So that group is a major utilization tool. So if you are an SRNA and you're not on that page, you know, go and contact Betsy Mahama, I think her name is, and she'll connect you if you have proof. You have to show that you're proof that you're an SRNA or CRNA. She doesn't allow people into the group who doesn't have like photocopy proof that you are a student or a CRNA licensed, and that's just to decrease the internet trolls that would try and, you know, bother the group. But yeah, use that tool. And just a piece of advice for all of you who have social media, which will probably be all of you, be aware that these job interviews, when you submit an application for a job and they're looking at you and interested, they will look at your social media. They're gonna pull up your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, if you have a YouTube page, like unfortunately I do. I'm very transparent. Anyone who wanted to interview me could easily pull up my YouTube page and look at, you know, hours of me talking and discussing topics and things like that. So, and I even had a job that, I mean, they really liked me and they liked my YouTube page a lot, and which was a plus, but it could have backfired on me. They may have not. It could have been a job that may not have liked what I do on YouTube and said, we don't want this in our practice. And so that is a very real issue with today's modern healthcare. So just be aware that if you're on Instagram or whatever and you're posting things that are maybe not appropriate, or, you know, bikini pictures, or, you know, you drinking at parties, or anything that just does not seem like utmost professionalism, take it down. you're as an SRNA, you probably already know this because your program director has probably already told you day one, like you are expected to uphold a high level of professionalism now that you're in the anesthesia world and you're representing their school. And then once you become a CRNA, you're representing the practice that you work at. So you are expected to be very professional. You're under a microscope. Those of you who are not in CRNA yet, who are still nurses or maybe even nursing students or high school students, just understand if you're going this path, there is an extreme level of professionalism that's expected of this position. Patients may look at your site, they may look at your Instagram or whatever after you've provided anesthesia for them, or maybe before they come in to do anesthesia in your practice. And you don't want to look like you're a party kid or something like that. You want to look like an anesthesia professional. So just be aware, job interviews, we'll look them up. It may hinder you from getting a job. So just be careful of your social media. All right, so that's everything. If you guys have questions about specifics with the interviews or anything like that, hit me up in the comments below, and that's Bolt out.